Hello, hello. Oh, wow, I am peeking like crazy. One sec. Mic check. Oh, shit. Properties. Filters. Let's turn that gain down. Okay, hello, everyone. Let's get that camera on. How's everyone doing? It has been a very long time. Hey there, Therum. Hey there, Zith. Hey there, Alex. Hey there, Japio. I can't believe I'm doing a stream either. As a strangely concerning amount of things have done in my life of late, was caught by the sudden inspiration to stream again because of a dream. So here I am. I have no idea if I'm gonna be able to make this like a thing again, because, you know, although I never officially stopped doing weekly streams, I think it was pretty obvious that they were at minimum on hold, but I'd like to, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it goes. Yeah, how's everyone been? It's been a long time. Hey there, Jablin. Yeah, so the dream was just that I streamed. It wasn't super deep, it just kind of happened. So how are my levels, by the way? Am I okay? I haven't actually had to set this up properly yet for a device for this current computer. I ended up swapping OSs in between the last stream and this one, and so I just kind of copied all of my OBS configs verbatim over, and then got really confused when I could not, like, my voice was a second delayed. It was super out of sync, and I thought it was like a hardware issue because, you know, this webcam I'm using is like 15 years old. It is not good, right? But it turns out I just had a hard-coded like 1 second offset for the audio, and I have no idea why I did that. I must have done that like a year ago and then forgot to turn it back. I also had the joy of thinking my webcam was broken because I would swap to it live, but it was freaking out when I tried to do that last time. So this is what I saw. This is for posterity because I don't think anyone would believe how shit this is if I... That was the quality of the webcam when I opened it up. That was just its default resolution, I guess. I'm not sure what to make of that since it was fine on everything else, but it was truly a sight to behold. Close my curtains. My curtains are fine. This room, this is a new house to start with, so the lighting is a little bit shit. So hopefully that's not too terrible. But yeah, so this is a bit of a weird stream for me because outside of game jams, I've never done a live stream that isn't like just Zepha. For those that don't know, if there's any new people in the chat, Zepha's my voxel game, and I used to stream like once a week for I think around a year working on it. But then, you know, for the whole backstory, even for the people who are familiar with my stuff, reality hit a little bit. I was a university student when I started streaming Zepha stuff, and I always wanted it to be a career, but I wasn't really operating as though it was a sustainable career. I was kind of just doing what I wanted to when I wanted to, and you know, eventually I was about to graduate and I needed to get a job, and everything kind of spiraled from there. And then I did a crazy leap and decided to start being a full-time developer, like game developer. So I'm here now. I know I'm kind of rambling. I'm just trying to figure out what to say. Long and short of it is I've been working on a commercially funded full-time project, Stardust Frontier, for about a year and a half now. And that's not what this is. So if anyone's here expecting Stardust Frontier, that's not what this is, because I've been working on that for pretty much every day for about 15 months, and I want to do something in my spare time again. So I got this thing in front of me. I've been working on this for about a week and a bit of spare time, and this is a little horror little thing. I'm not entirely sure how to describe it, but we're making an asymmetrical multiplayer horror game where sound is how your enemy hears. So instead of having the monster, which is a player, be able to see the world like the rest of you, they see sound waves. So if I actually boot this up and I make myself the monster, you'll see the world is black, except for, if I enable voice chat, except for ripples that are created by sound you make. And so basically, the idea is that you've got a bunch of survivors. It's kind of a Dead by Daylight situation where you're all trying to not die horribly and complete a task to banish the monster. And you're trying to make as little sound as possible and hide from them. So it's kind of like a bit of a stealth plus tag. It's like stealth tag. Yeah, that's basically the pitch. That's what I'm going to be working on today. I'll give the background in a sec, but any questions? I'm going to catch up on chat. Nice to see you again as well. Sound is how it here is, looks so cool. Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, this webcam is, I think, actually from the 90s. I told this story on stream before, but I got it from my grade 7 teacher who, like, years after, you know, I graduated high school, I was doing some website work for him, and he asked me if I could fix his router, and he was, like, an older guy, and, like, I knew him from school, so I was like, sure, and I went over to his house, and I fixed his router, and when I was done, he was like, oh, yeah, I have this, like, drawer of old tech junk. If you want to look through it, I don't know if any of it's useful. And I was like, sure, and I found this webcam in there, and like, I didn't have a webcam, so I was like, you don't want this? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay. And that has proven to be a decision that has had much, like, longer ramifications than I expected, because it's still my only webcam today. And Zith has redeemed the ears. You have no idea what you've done. I don't even know where they are. I moved house. 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay. You're lucky. You're lucky that I found the ears. Alright, here we go. I need to figure out how to set up that timer again. I don't remember how I did the... I think I just had, like... I was just chroma keying the Google, like, countdown timer. I'm not gonna bother with that right now. I'm just gonna use my phone. 1 hour. There you go. I should know what? I should know where the ears are? Thank you. No, we used to have, like, a little UI element for the ears, but yeah, when I moved all the OBS stuff over, like, everything's broken. My chats are just docs. Like, they're just stupid little docs that I've got pinned on top now. They're not actually part of OBS. I definitely have some tech stuff to fix if I'm gonna start doing this regularly again. But yeah, to get a bit deeper about the game, so I'm working with my partner, who is a modeler and artist for the graphics. I didn't make these assets myself. I'm the programmer, and I also handle, like, integrating assets for the most part, like setting up the animations and stuff. This is a bad example. This guy's just in the walk pose, but we do actually have an animation system that works. Wobble windows. Why are you such a hater of wobble windows? They're awesome. And so, like, the actual game assets here, I did not make these, but I did make the lighting stuff, or at least in how it deviates from Godot's basic lighting system, and I did this water shader yesterday, which I'm pretty happy with. In the editor, it looks a bit... You can really see the scenes. It's just a simple tiling texture, and so, like, it's not, you know, it's not, like, physically accurate or incredible or anything, but since we're, like, in the dark, and one of the changes I made to the lighting of Godot is that we aren't using any sort of face directional shading. So, like, it's not like the planes of this tree are darker if they're tangential. It actually works really well, where, like, you can't see enough of it to tell that it tiles. And, you know, it looks physically accurate enough that it, I feel, contributes to the vibe. Thanks, Jess. Yeah, and so it's basically just, it's kind of a bit of a weird little effect here where it's a plane, as you might imagine, a subdivided plane that's moving up and down. I'm not usually a huge fan of subdivided planes like this because I feel like they add a lot of unnecessary geometry, but I figured there wasn't much of a reason not to, since it's not like there's going to be a huge amount of water in this game, and the ripple does add a bit of depth to the scene. And then basically I use Godot's beautiful built-in uniforms for pulling a world space position out of a screen space one, which is so nice, to get the depth of the like vertex or the nearest fragment underneath of the plane to compute like the opacity of it. So like if I move this up and down, you'll see it gets more opaque the further it is from the ground. And then I apply a little bit of a like edge shore effect based on that as well. And then the actual like ripples in here are just a sprite sheet of caustics. I can't zoom on this, really? Wow. I thought I could. Ooh, that's not what I want to do. It's a sprite sheet of caustics that I guess I can open this in the here? Yeah. Tiling caustics texture over time that I just tween between two separate colors of. And then I use a feature that I imagine is probably standard in most game engines, but I'm not familiar with game engines. This is kind of my first time doing a proper game engine thing. But I set the bright color here to a increased intensity color, which it still has the relative color. My face is in front of the stream chat? I don't think it is. The chat's just above it. It's like, it's still containing its relative HueSat and whatever, but it's extra bright, which doesn't actually make it illuminate light, but what it does do is it reflects light way stronger. So even when everything else is black over here, you can still see it, which kind of mimics the effect of a specular reflection in your face without me actually having to do the matrix algebra to get the specular reflection in my face, because I got a 60 in matrix algebra when I took it in university, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, that's how the water works. And then I've got a little static algae layer on top because this is a forest and it's meant to be kind of like icky and gross. And that was the thing I did last night. Oh yes, the crank light. I guess I should probably actually show off some of the items that I've been sitting around with. So because the monster sees via sound, but the players see via light, I wanted to create some mechanics that kind of like mix the two of them. You know, that make you vulnerable because you're making sound to emit light for yourself. So we have this wind-up flashlight, and the way you charge it is you actually hold right-click and rotate your mouse in a circle, which charges the flashlight's beam temporarily, and then that'll like fade over time, and it's silent when you're using it, but when you actually crank it up, it makes a lot of noise, which causes the monster to be able to see you with like the light ripples. And then we've also got, this is the other item I've implemented in this little jam, we have an RC car that you can talk out of. Like if I hold the button, hello, hello, you could probably maybe hear a little bit my voice echoed from the car. This is basically a decoy player, so you can't move around while you're controlling the car, but you can have your voice be projected out of the front of it, and you can drive it around and see from it. And so the idea is that if like the monster is approaching and getting close to you, you can drive the car away while screaming at it to try and divert its attention. And well, the sound is kind of obvious if you get close enough. You can hear like the car whirring. From a distance where like the creature sees with like the light ripples, it makes the exact same ripples as like player footsteps. So it kind of will just look like a player in the distance. And that's just the other little thing that I've been setting up here. Which yeah, I was pretty happy with. And we've also just got like regular old sneaking mechanics where like you can crouch in these big tree stumps, and the monster will still be able to hit you from in here. It's not like you're invulnerable to getting hit, but the idea is that we'll have enough of them around on the map that unless the monster suspects there's a player there, they're not gonna stop and look in every single tree stump, right? So the goal is more about hiding in places that are a bit more obvious, or a bit less obvious to look into. Hey there, Bitcouver, how you doing? We chatted at Twitch, the Twitch community meetup thing. I've been to too many expos. They're all like, their names are all blending together. Yeah, this is, would you believe this is my first time going live in like a year? I used to do this every week, and then I got kinda distracted. It certainly is, yeah. But yeah, today I'm gonna do a little bit of polishing and implementing of some new mechanics, and we're also gonna make a blood ocean, because my partner is angsty and wants there to be a blood ocean around the map, which, you know, I think is pretty cool as well. So I'm gonna repurpose the water shader, and we're going to try and make some vibey blood water. Hey there, J-Rude. Sure you've already been asked, but how are you finding Godot? Actually, I haven't, but I imagine that's probably because the stream has only started just like a couple minutes ago, but you are the first. It's interesting. I definitely have opinions. I'd say they're mostly positive. So for context to anyone who's just hopped in, I've never used a like full-on engine before. I used GameMaker when I was in high school, and then immediately jumped into building my own stuff with no engine, just like raw OpenGL and Vulkan, which is what like the longest project I've ever worked on is. So I've been definitely very interested working with an actual modern engine. This is the first project I've ever done in it. I do think there are a lot of things I don't like. Particularly the type system is abysmal. There's no generics, which breaks my heart. I'm a generic lover. Sorry. And, you know, like not being able to define like, oh, I want to have like type inventory item is going to be like ID string, data any, count, number. Not being able to do that easily really bugs me. You can make classes technically, but there's no like nice class initializers, so you have to write constructors for all of them. And classes, as far as I know, can't be serialized with Godot's built-in serialization constructs. And yeah, I know C# has a more featureful type system, but I mean, this is just a prototype project, and I wanted to see what Godot's, I guess, like primary language was. You can see I did, or I guess you can't see here, Godot. You can see I did download the mono-capable version of it, but no, I haven't used C# yet. I'm waiting for Godot. I don't know about that, but you know, it's definitely nice in some ways. It's very nice to have the visual like scene editor. The shaders, oh my god, the shaders are beautiful. I know some crazy people use better shading languages than GLSL, and to them I have nothing but envy. But I've only ever used GLSL, and there's like no proper linting for it in VS Code or any other IDE that I've used at all. And the errors are so hard to find, and they're so annoying, and it's awful, awful, awful. Being able to use the built-in shader editor here and be like, oh, let's go vec for my mistyped thing is that, and have it actually tell me before I waste my time compiling everything and running it that I fucked up is so nice. It's so nice. I'm so happy that I have a proper shader editor. Better to be distracted than to be destructed. I would agree with that. GDScript can be very jank at times. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I've used Godot a whole ton, and same GDScript's type system is a little lacking as, yeah, it's definitely really lacking. It's good about surfacing errors compared to normal shader links, yes. I mean, like, it is GLSL, or I guess it's .gd shader, but that seems to just be a preprocessor on GLSL. So it is the same jank-ass kind of shitty shader language, but actually having linting makes all the difference. Oh, thanks for the sub, Zith. 33 months total, oh my god. But yeah, so, general opinions though, I really like the like physics systems. I appreciate how they have intentionally separated rigid bodies, which are just, you know, they get physics applied to them and they just kind of flop around, and character bodies, which exist in the physical world but are primarily driven by like programmatic inputs. That is a nice distinction to have, and something that I've not thought of a clean way to handle. I'm definitely like pulling ideas from working with Godot for Zeppa, you know, for the long off day where I can actually work on it again, because I think there's some things it does very elegantly. I really like signals. Signals are fantastic. The fact that they are, you know, if you're in the same scene, it's entirely ambivalent to where each node is. You can just pipe from one thing to another. And then if you're doing it programmatically, it just works like an event listener in JavaScript, but they're super easy to define. That is very nice. Yes, event systems are definitely lovely. And then, what else do I like? I like that, I don't even know if this is like a impactful opinion, but I really like all of the ability to export information and like define stuff that's shared with the editor very easily. I don't think that this is the best example of a cleanly architected Godot project. This is my base character class, or base player, which is inherited by both the players and the monster. And it's, you know, about 400 lines long, but I've done my best to keep it at least a little bit organized. And I've been enjoying... So I'll be the first to say that I do not like Python or Pythonic languages, but I have been enjoying how flexible it is to just kind of throw stuff together and have it work. I will say, okay, coming from the perspective of someone that's used C++ and JavaScript with TypeScript, and, you know, there's two very different models of typing there, and then also being aware of how Python kind of sucks at typing. GDScript's way of caring about types and not caring about types is super, super weird to me. Yeah, it's usable in a typed way. It is no contest better at typing than Python, which, if people aren't aware, at least last time I checked, it has the syntactical support for types, but they are entirely unchecked at runtime, or I guess there's no compile time with Python, but, you know, I guess there is CPython. It is unchecked, there's no checking. The only reason that it is syntactically supported is for linters, which basically means it's a, you know, a preprocessor step that is being handled by ignoring it at runtime, which just, I don't know why it bugs me so much, but that bothers me so much. Whereas, like, you know, at least with TypeScript and JavaScript, you know it's a preprocessor step. You know what stuff is actually being parsed and cared about and what isn't. And I would rather have a type system, if it's unenforced, not bloat my code with extra tokens and parsing grammar, than have it do that. Which is why I'm so very against, like, the actual proposals to integrate, like, type syntax into JavaScript without it being enforced. It's fucking gross. But yeah, in GDScript, it's not just compile or parser time. As you mentioned, JRude, there is material speed improvements to it. But it's also not required. Like, the language is dynamically typed, but it's got static types signatures, but it's dynamically typed and is all dynamic by default. Like, even a lot of their engine functions, because they have shit type inference. If I go, like, you know, float F1, or sorry, var F1 float, var F2 float, and I do var3, or what is wrong with me? F3 is going to be equal to, like, I don't know, max F1, F2. This doesn't have a static type signature, because their type system is crazy. Even though both of these are floats, the type signature for max is just an array returns a thing. So if you want to do it, you have these fucking max F and max D? Or is it just max I? Yeah, max F and max I functions, which actually enforce their types. But, like, but this is so insane to me. Like, why is there no syntax for being like func max? args T array, and then like T extends number of some type, right? And then like returns a T. Like, I feel like having basic type inference is not a huge ask. And the fact that it doesn't have anything like that is really, really weird to me. I think it's like this because GDScript used to not have types at all. Yeah, I know that it's a sort of recent addition, but with all of the work that it's gone into engine-wise to actually have like types have performance improvements and stuff and clearly be materially present. Sorry, my audio just got really weird, or is it just the song? Oh, it's just the song. Okay, that was psyching me out. For all the work that's done to actually integrate it into the engine, it's really strange to me that they didn't put more effort into the syntax side of things. They've been holding off on some type system improvements because they have like one big thing they're working on for GDScript typing that's holding things back. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to dig into that a bit more. Like, it hasn't, practically speaking, been stopping me from doing anything that I want to do, but it definitely is a thing where I'm like, oh, this kind of sucks. I also find it really interesting that, like, I might be wrong on this one, hold on. If I have, like, an array, I can type a thing, but I can't, sorry, I keep forgetting number isn't a type because I'm very used to TypeScript right now, and GDScript, I find it weird that GDScript, despite being so high level, distinguishes between integer and floating point numbers. It's a good thing. I'm not saying it's not, but it is kind of strange. But like, I don't think you can do this. Yeah, you can't have doubly nested types, and there's also no tuple type. I can't be like, this is gonna have an int, a float, and a string, and then be like 1, 1.5, high, which is a shame. And dictionaries are entirely like key value. Like, you can't be like, you can't make like actual ad hoc objects in the same way unless you just do like string variant, which sucks. Nested types are one of the things that's been being worked on for a good while. Yeah. It's also one of those languages that, you know, has the beautiful trait of having objects magically passed by reference and having null be a viable value, but only for heap allocated things intrinsically, which is, it baffles me that languages that are designed to be approachable in the modern day are still distinguishing between stack and heap allocated things without like a clear barrier. Like, okay, if you're an intro programmer, I know that's not exactly the audience that I'm catering to here with this deep talk about language design. But if you're if you're a programmer, right, and you have like var I, there's not a type, right, and then you have var x, dictionary, string, and val 5, right, and then why are you angry? Oh, because I used triangle brackets. And then I have like func do something, number, or just void actually, I plus equals 1, right? And then I have like do something with I. Obviously, you know, it's a bit of a learning curve to go, oh, well, I down here is still 5 because this is copied by value. But you learn that and then you go, okay, I understand that now. But then you change do something to be a dictionary. I'm not gonna type it because I don't care. And then I go like x.val plus equals 5. And now if I put x in here, then x.val is now 10. Like, obviously we understand, because we know how programming works, that this is a heap allocated value, and to optimize things, they don't copy the dictionary that might be potentially really large into the function every time. We just send it by reference. But to an introductory programmer, the fact that these two things behave entirely differently is weird, right? Like, that's a weirdly unintuitive thing to try to teach someone, especially for a language that's designed to be beginner friendly. Like, GDScript is the baby language of Godot. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I think having a simpler language that like has, you know, a lower performance ceiling but is good for everything that you realistically want to do if you're making something simple is fine. But shouldn't it then be simple? and GDScript isn't the only thing that does this. Like Java, C#, F#, I think? Although F# has a much stronger focus on immutable objects, but, you know, if you mutate them, they're still passed by reference. JavaScript, all these things have this as a characteristic, except for C++. And I guess it's just because C++ is the outlier that it's deemed more complicated, but I feel like it's actually a much more obvious implementation to have, you know, everything passed by value and having reference passing be explicit, but I digress. I think you're convincing me to stick with my own engine. Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, I'm enjoying my time with Godot. I don't think this would ever become my main driver for very complicated projects I care about. I like hand-rolling things, but for prototyping and creating smaller scope things, like, it is very nice. Something else I do not like. I'm just turning this into a rant stream, apparently. But something else I don't like is how, despite the lighting system being quite configurable, its like actual lighting model is very hard to override. Like, a lot of the graphics decisions in you know, this project have been informed from similar low poly games that have kind of defined a bit of a style when it comes to shading low poly objects, where you don't really want to shade stuff plainly, because it gets really messy really fast. Like, if I grab the trees here and I revert the shader, I don't think that's going to be enough, but we're going to try it. Because it's a multi-mesh and they're confusing. Oh, it was... Oh, well, let's not do that. Here, let me just, for simplicity, comment out the light override function in the shader, and then we'll get everything beautifully, plainly, ugly shaded. And you'll see pretty quick, like, this doesn't look great. Having the hard edges of the tree be very obvious is kind of icky. Having the ground be shockingly dark compared to the grass particles, because the grass is, you know, tangential to the light plane, whereas the ground isn't ideal, because there's no indirect lighting, because it's not ray traced. You know, having, like, stuff like this rope here, having all this, like, obvious detail, it somehow makes it feel lower poly than it is if you see, like, the face shading, right? It's a lot nicer to not have it, but there is no built-in way to tell Godot, hey, lighting shader, just, like, ignore the face shading calculation that you have, because that's just an additive component you're doing. So you can just not do that, and everything else would work fine. But they don't have a way to do that on a global level. So instead, I have this stupid custom shader, which is, you know, a fair bit more limited than Godot's material system, that's main purpose is just to override the light calculations to not include the normal direction, which I have to apply to every object using an import script. And it's annoying, it's stupid, it's really annoying. How well does a Godot project export to another engine like Unity? I would imagine not at all. I've not tried. There might be third-party tooling to export it, but engines are, like, it's kind of like, you know, taking, like, the frame of a car, right? If your game is, like, the frame, like, the chassis of a car, and then trying to put it on the frame of a truck, right? Like, all of the underlying stuff is tuned towards a specific purpose. Like, all of your chassis is built to shape the car, which is the engine, kind of mixing metaphors here. But, like, it's difficult to, like, just carry something over because, you know, you end up in a situation where there's a lot of assumptions being made by your code about the engine you're using. Do something can both pass X by value or by reference in C++. Rust does it better. Well, what gets passed by reference by default in C++? Are you just talking about, like, if it's a pointer type that you're passing in? Or is there an edge case I'm not aware of? The deeper you'll get into Godot shaders, the more you'll dislike it. Wonderful. You can go deeper and use rendering devices and such directly, but it's kind of messy, and I don't think supported or exposed in GDScript. Thankfully, this game is not very graphically complex. Like, just using this, like, stupid shader that disables the edge shading is going to be more than enough for most everything that we're doing. So, I'm not worried about that, but, you know, yeah, like I said, I'm not sure I'd want to do this for, like, a big project. One fun little thing that I found out is Godot has this construct called an area light. If I add an area light here, because, you know, I was looking at this because of the aforementioned blood ocean that we wanted to put in the game. If I stretch out this little guy, where's the X grabber? Oh, right, it's a plane. I just need to... If I drag this guy out and I make it... Let's just make it red. And then high energy, right? Okay, that did a lot less than I thought. Is it just really high off the ground? Yeah, it kind of is. Here, let's do that. So... Where is it? Hello? Light? Okay, I expected something, I'm not gonna lie. But, whatever. So, if you're not doing overridden shaders like what I'm doing, then this will at least work at all. But they really do not like custom shaders because the way that they're computed mathematically, apparently, hard requires the normal direction to, like, factor into it. So, I just can't use area lights in the environment because all of these materials have that shader that ignores the normal direction. Oh, they're a brand new thing. Interesting. That might explain why they're, like, strange and don't follow the API surface, because they straight up ignore the light function in shaders. But also there's, like, a million warnings just in the Godot docs themselves being like, you probably shouldn't use area lights because they're super laggy, so I'll pass on that for now, because the only thing I want to use area lights for is something that can be simply done without them, so I'll ignore for now. Yeah, but that is definitely not ideal, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Oh, look at that. Look at how they're, like, stacked on top of each other, and that's kind of cool looking. It creates, like, a like, multiple surface looking thing, because I was actually initially planning on having you be able to see the caustics on, like, the bottom of the pool as well, but then I found out that, like, more opaque water looked better in the darkness. Because, you know, when you shine a flashlight at a pool that's otherwise dark, you can't really see much into the pool. But that is interesting. That's kind of neat looking. It might be convincing me to do something else later, but not right now. Make a red one under the pool. Fucked up blood ocean hiding under the water. Sure. Let's make a blood ocean. Do 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 do. Not exactly visible now. It kind of overrides... That's interesting. It's probably a render ordering thing. 4.7, where area lights were added, only came out last month. Okay, interesting. Well then I'll hold a few of my more angry comments about it because I'm not trying to throw shade on a new feature. Secret blood ocean. Let's make this blood ocean, like, huge. Where is the, transforms? Where are you? I am blind. I have not gotten used to the layout of everything yet. There we go. Okay. So we're just gonna shunt this plane just a little under the ground, and we're gonna make it huge. 500 by 500. I don't care that it's gonna lag like crazy. I will optimize it later. Backroom's out of bounds. No, we have blood oceans instead. So that is actually the reason for this. So for context, our little idea here, the reason that you are running away from a scary monster and there's a horrible blood ocean is the game concept is that you are a bunch of regretful cultists that did a summoning ritual to want to get some bullshit, but were tricked and you accidentally summoned a demon instead, and it's like messed up the world, and it's trying to kill you, and you're trying to like go around and get the pieces that you need to make like a banishing spell to send it away. So I definitely think this needs to have an emissive strength on it so that it's illuminated, because why can I see it in there? Oh, it's just a unclear. What is going on? Is it just a depth sorting artifact? That's interesting. But I'll handle that in a sec. First of all, the Blood Ocean shouldn't have algae in it. Maybe it should have like bones and skulls or something, but I'll handle that in a minute. But to get that working, we need to get rid of the algae texture. And right now, or as far as I can tell, if you have an empty texture in Godot bound to a uniform, or if you don't have a texture, sorry, if you have a uniform for a texture that's not bound, then it treats it as just a white plane. So I'm gonna add a new uniform here, uniform algae factor. We're gonna default it hint range 0, 1. We're gonna default it to 1. And I forgot the type. Float. I'm a good programmer sometimes, I swear. And then we're going to take this factor and we're going to change the mix here. Or wait, that's the alpha. Mix here by this times this. And now if I take the algae factor down to 0, boom! The Blood Ocean has been liberated. Hey there, dear. Don't make me create a username. Are you ever gonna change your username there? Okay, so now... Oh yeah, I also want to change this max here. This keeps the opacity of the algae at the shore full, but it creates a bit of a weird artifact here when everything is... when the algae's a white texture, right, where it gets rid of the translucency, which is not great. Then we're also going to bump up the maximum depth a bit. I can't do it as much as I'd like because there's no underwater terrain right now, but I'll be able to do that later. Your usernames are already taken. Well. Alright, and then let's actually get this color tuned a bit nicer. Let's get like a bit of a gross orange. And then what it really needs is a nicer color here. Can I don't want +1, I just want 0. There's that gross-ass blood color. What? I want you to know that that leopard message got auto-translated to leopard. Add a little black somewhere to the blood. I mean, actually, what would happen if I inverted this, where I made this really dark and this quite bright? Nothing. Lame. Yeah, I can add... I'm not sure if I'd want to do that as like a procedural effect, or if I'd want to do that as more of a, like a texture, like an algae variant that goes on top of it. I think this needs to be more orange, this needs to be more purple to get the like kind of blood color across. Yeah, that's a bit blood-like. And then we're gonna bump up the caustic scale because, like, I imagine blood would be more viscous, you know, more cellular. Obviously, this isn't actually how blood looks. It's kind of a uniform, flat-ish color, but that's boring. And also, this is an ocean of blood. As far as I know, you know, we don't really have any grounds in reality for that, so let's get a bit more interesting with it, right? What happens if I take this and I make it more intense? That looks good. You like congealed algae substance, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now... Ooh. I would really like to get this to be a little bit emissive. And I believe that if I set it to unshaded, that will have that effect, where it will, you know, just kind of ignore the lighting. That is pretty good, though. That looks quite disgusting. I don't know about you, but I would not want to jump in that. I think that signals immediate death pretty well. Hopefully. Ugh. Slimy. I sent him away. Looks like tomato sauce. I mean, even if that's what you think it looks like, I still wouldn't want to jump in tomato sauce. You should put eels in it? That's actually kind of a cute idea, yeah. I will save that for later. Evening, that looks yuck. Thank you, Bloodstained Crow. That's kind of the point. Good evening to you as well. Yeah, we're trying to make a wonderful ocean of blood that surrounds this stupid island. I guess I definitely didn't need this to be as big, given the fact that there's lighting, but it's not supposed to be cute, it's supposed to be awful and scary. One sec. You know it's true if someone named Bloodstained Crow says it. Alright, so let's see about making this emissive. I'm gonna have to fork this, or I guess I could just use a uniform. Let's see. Uniform float emissivity. Emissiveness. I'm gonna do another hint range. I love this shit. Should make a big ball of blood texture in the sky. The sky kind of relies on being dark so that you can't see the world, really. Because if you could see the world in silhouette, that would make it easier to navigate. Alright, so what if so this is the light factor that goes into it, as far as I know. If I just set this to 1... Yeah, this is full bright right now, which... That's very strange. In fact, what is that weird... What's going on there? What? Huh. What am I looking at exactly? Hold on, wait, maybe that's the plus equals? Maybe it's like getting computed multiple times for different lights? Vec 3... If it was straight above you, it wouldn't really help navigation. Maybe, yeah. But, so, yeah, okay, it looks like it was just the additive thing that was causing that. Because I believe, from what I read in the docs, the light function gets computed for every light that would be visible on the object. Like, it's like this weird pseudo-shader pass that's not really a real shader pass. Whose point is to compute the light influence. So I think it was like computing some of the planes of the blood ocean to be in the influence of multiple lights. But there we go, that's full bright. We're getting somewhere. I am going to take this, and we're going to... Oh, but if... that's kind of complicated though, because I can't add a scalar increase there. I can't add a scalar increase because it's going to do the same thing, where if it's under the influence of multiple lights, it's going to be weird. Can I access the diffuse light in here? No. Okay, but what if I pull it in here? No. I can do, God, what is the syntax for this again? I have it in one of these. Render mode, unshaded, I think, makes it so that it doesn't get affected by any lights. That's not exactly what I want either. I still want it to get more illuminated by lights and stuff, although that is kind of cool, honestly. Maybe I like that. Do I like this? No, this isn't good enough. Hello, my face is a shader pass FP16 overflow. The ocean looks a bit copy-pasty. You know of ways to spice shaders up to not make it look this way? Yeah, so... I mean, right now it's just kind of a repeating texture. I would probably taper... okay, so for this in particular, we're kind of gonna have it blend into the skybox and get a bit less distinct as it goes on. So I'd probably actually use the distance of the depth of the fragment to tween out the texture so that you can only really see the ripples up close, and then just kind of make it a like larger, maybe like some fractal noise, just like some light and dark blobbies that are a lot bigger. But I wouldn't want to get the caustics visible everywhere because it does look quite odd. This effect makes it seem like some unreal substance. Yeah, I do want it to be illuminated. I'm just trying to figure out... You know, maybe this is good, actually. The more I stare at it, I really like the way that it illuminates the dark trees without them actually being lit up. That's pretty cool. Oh, thanks for the posture check, J-Rude. Yeah, I do like that. Maybe I like this. I think I do. I think I like it. All right, then let's actually move forward with this. I need to quickly organize a little bit here where we have the water shader, but then we also have, like, I don't want the water to be unshaded. So I'm gonna make an include. I'm going to new, are they resources? No. Are they scripts? I mean, I guess I can just create the file. I'm surprised, hold on. I'm just curious about the actual proper way to do this. I guess text file? I mean, I guess so. From first person, it looks great. For a texture-like shader, would you normally, like, bake it at runtime, or is it low res? Are you asking about the caustics? Because these caustics, if I go over to here, or, like, this isn't actually a, like, live computed noise texture. This is, I downloaded this caustics generator free online. Which generated a 16 frame, like, thing that I'm currently tweening between. Bake it once at runtime. Yeah, so for the noise texture, if I was to do the like, fractal noise, then I would probably... I mean... The noise would probably be a low enough octave that I wouldn't need to care about baking it. It really just comes down to if I think it looks better being baked or not, so... Caustics generator free online. Yeah, it's definitely not the most, like, modern looking tool, but you know how it is. So I want to create a shader include, and I am getting distracted. Oh wait, I can do it in here. I found it. I'm a genius. Okay, so let's go water caustics dot include, and we're going to create, let's see, if it works, why update it? I mean, fair enough. Results are good and that's all that matters. I do agree with that. Like, check this out. If I look at this beautiful program that's running in Wine, or, yeah, there we go. You just tell it to go. And then it spits all these lovely bitmaps straight into my user directory. Great. Like, seriously, if I pull this up, like, look, it just right into my pictures. Thanks. Okay, so we have the shader include, and I basically want to pull So the wave deform is pretty simple, and I'm probably not even going to have that on the Blood Ocean because it's going to be lower than everything, so having a subdivided plane is kind of unnecessary. The depth function, I think I only use that once, so I can pull that into the include. And then let's grab all of this shit. And then we're going to Vec 4. Get water caustics. And we're doing a Vec 4 instead of a Vec 3 because over here we have this alpha factor that's being computed. I'm just gonna share the computation here. And then Vec 4 color alpha. Am I missing messages? Nope. Okay, so I'm actually really surprised that this isn't freaking out. I think it's just because this is chillin'. Do I need to pass... Can I put a uniform in a... include? I haven't ever tried that. Includes are very new to me because, you know, I don't typically work it with like any sort of shader language preprocessors, so it's very nice. Maximum depth, we'll toss that in here as well. I mean, it's not screaming yet. Timescale. I guess a lot of these are going to need to be over here. Then it needs the caustics texture, fair enough. Why are you mad at me? Oh, because that's the wrong variable. Yep, fair enough. I guess I need to... I guess pretty much all of these need to go in here. I don't know why I'm doing it like piece by piece. Okay, how are we looking? You're confused about the inverse view matrix. Okay, map 4 in view matrix, map 4 in projection matrix. I was looking this up because I was curious how the like uniforms or the constants, I suppose, in Godot work, and they're scoped to their function. Like they're all caps, which makes me think of defines, but they're actually only defined in the like function itself, which is unfortunate because that means I need to pass them one by one in here. But I kind of understand, like, oh, is this a Vec 3? Probably. I do understand that, like, you know, if they had them available globally, then it would be weird because if you access them in the wrong shader pass, they wouldn't be defined. But it's kind of annoying still. Just be happy. Okay. Wow, your voxel engine has evolved. Kind of reminds me of Godot. Yeah, I know, right? It's so advanced. No, this is just a little prototype project I'm working on. Okay, so... we're gonna comment out emissiveness right now because I'm putting a pin in figuring out how that works. Alright, so... now I should be able to include it in here. If I can spell. Then let's go... Vec for caustics is equal to... get water caustics, and then we're gonna need to pass in vertex, screen UV, in view matrix, in projection matrix, caustics.xyz, caustics.a. I guess let's just be a little more consistent. Okay. Well, would you look at that? What happens if I define a uniform in both of these? Because I kind of want to be able to access the colors. But it's a redefinition. But can I use them in here because they're defined over there? Like if I go... oh, I can. Okay, good. It's like a proper code include. That's where I know you from. You made this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, the voxel engine stuff, that is kind of my thing. That's my main thing that I like to do. I have been tempered by the realities of needing an income, though, and I've been working on some smaller projects, which has been a lot of fun, too. Yes, let's see. So we got this in here. So now if we want to blend it out, because I would like to blend it out if it's like, if the depth of the pixel is too far away. So to get the world position, this is how I get the depth in this shader from the screen UV, which samples the depth texture. But if we were to, instead of sampling the depth texture, just take the world position, so my matrix math is so fuzzy. Let's see. Get distance to current fragment GLSL. Let's see what the internet has to say. Okay, it's just telling me to get the world position, which we already have, and then... Oh, fair enough. So, let's see. So if we take the model view, so the view matrix and the projection matrix times the world position. Wait, we do have the world position, right? No, we don't. Wait, no, Vertex has to contain it, right? Is there actual docs for this? Online docs? Do you have what I want? Built-in shading language. Vertex all caps referenced anywhere? No, you're just referencing the word vertex a million times. Oh wait, hold on. A large number of variables for the variable list. Consult this page. Look at that. Vertex. Okay, yeah, so the vertex, it's already model view times position, apparently, according to the docs, which means that it should already be in view position? Should put an Umibozu in the water. Hold on, so if it's already in world space, then what if I just return vertex? Or not return. Wait. Yes? No. Albedo is equal to vertex. Yes! Look at it. Screen space already. This is perfect. Okay. Reading the docs, everyone. It's incredible. So now, what if I do, vertex dot z. So if I get closer, I think that's just, yeah. So what if I do like times 100? Or I guess divided by 100 because we're already maxing out. 5,000. So this is getting our depth in, I think it's relative to the far plane. Holy crap, she's back, the myth, the legend, the cat. Well, you can blame Zith for that one. She immediately redeemed them, so. But there's only 4 minutes left, so I'll be free eventually. Okay, so if we have the depth here, then let's undo this, and we're going to grab the depth here. And we'll do any sort of multiplication and division over here to actually get the value and the scale we want. And then we're going to mix the caustics.rgb with color dark by depth. Whoa, okay, that's... Whoa! Okay, now it looks like lava. Wait, is mix not clamped? Mix GLSL is not. Okay, hold on. Clamp 0, 1. How can I redeem fun things on YouTube? You can't right now, I'm sorry. There's just not a feature for that on the YouTube side of things. So yeah, there we go. It's kind of doing the opposite of what I want. If I were to divide this by 100, I I think that did the opposite. Times it by 100. Am I stupid? Hold on. Let's go 1 minus the vertex here. And then that is removing it. But what if we go times 1000? Nothing, really. Hold on, wait. This is at 1, right? Yeah, and 0 is here. So what we want is we want to start at 0 and then get up to 1. So I'm surprised this isn't working. Wait, maybe I need to divide it by a really large factor? You know, I did expect to see something. Hold on. Let's use brain here. So vertex.z, if I return to just going albedo is vertex.z, and then vec3 vertex.z, it might be a negative number. That might be what's screwing me up. If we go times 1000, yeah, what if we invert it? And then make it less big? I think that is what I'm looking at here. Like, if I divide this by a value, there we go. Now it was negative. So if you look, if I zoom out here, you'll see everything nearer to the camera is dark, and everything further away is light. So if we take that and go back to this logic, and then we use this to mix it like this, there we go. So we now have the texture fading out in the distance. Let's reduce the effective difference. Let's go like maybe 30? So now if we hop into the game, and we run over to the gross evil blood ocean. Okay, wait, I didn't think about the fact that I can't see it. Let's duplicate the shader, and let's call this bloodocean.gd shader, and then we're gonna go back to the water, and we're going to get rid of the depth logic in here. Oh, that's the cat ear timer, I'm free. And then we'll grab the caustics like we planned originally for the water, and then we'll go into the mesh here, and then we'll set this shader to the Blood Ocean shader. Whoop. Okay, now we're back where we were before. Then I need to open this. And let's make this a lot shorter so we can actually see if it works. I like the vibe, spoopy but cozy. Thank you. So, okay, yeah, so as you can see from here, the caustics are visible, but only close to where we're standing. In the future, I might get a bit more sophisticated with it. Like, if we actually have geometry under the ground, then I could base it on the depth, and then it would look a bit more like, you know, shore ripples, which I think would be nice. Where's the Zephyr content? Zephyr is complicated to work on when I need to have a job. I plan to go back to it at some point, but I don't have a large amount of free time right now, unfortunately. Oh no, into the Blood Ocean. Okay, so now we can go, God, I keep forgetting what the syntax is for this. Render mode. Render mode unshaded. Then we can bump this range up a bit higher. Look at that. Ignore the weird depth sorting artifacts, I'm sure that's fine. Okay, there we go. So yeah, as you can see, we can see the ripples within a certain range. I'm not a huge fan of how it's a flat line, though. I might pass the player position in as a uniform, because then I can actually do a circular distance check. Yeah, I think that's probably the next step. Job you mean the game project you're working on with a friend? Yeah, Stardust Frontier is the commercial project I'm working on right now. This is just a little bit of a deviation for fun. Short scope project, not, you know, a whole voxel engine that takes years to make. Recentering the camera is so annoying. There we go. Oh, hello! Okay, so let's actually pass in a uniform for the player's position. Or I guess let's call it cam toss, and then we'll get float. Depth is going to be, this time, distance between vertex is going to be in screen space, though. Oh, but if we do the inverse view matrix times the vertex, I think that'll create the world space coordinate. Don't quote me on that. Check Discord. Okay, fine. Jeez. It's because you're not running Steam. Run Steam. Okay, let's see. Distance here, and then we're gonna go camera position. And let's just divide that by 50. Cool. No, this is my, this is the other person who's working on this project with me. Okay, so... No, you are not my boss. How do I like Godot? I think it's fine. I have a lot more, I guess, like, complicated opinions on it and its architecture. The type system sucks. I think it's cool, like, being able to manipulate stuff as nodes. The shading system's kind of weirdly rigid. But, like, I think in general it's pretty alright. Like, I do like it. Okay, so if I throw the uniform into here, let's go into shader parameters, camera position. I'm just gonna move it along the x-axis so we can take a look at it. So this is around, I'd say around 40 on the x-axis. Let's go, like, oh yeah, there we go, look at that. Oh my god, I was right about something. I'm gonna be real, I fully expected this inverse view matrix thing to not work at all. But it works. Okay. What do I mean as nodes? I'm just referring to, like, the scene tree stuff over here. It's nice being able to, like, move stuff as a hierarchy of, like, built-in pieces. No, more ears. Okay, fine. I'm gonna reset the timer. I'm judging you. 1 hour of ears, yep. Yep. Okay. So we got the depth in here. Let's pipe in the actual camera position. So there's probably a more elegant way to attach something to this, but I am just gonna throw a script on here. And we're going to process, I don't need ready. We are going to go, set shader parameter. Okay, so we need to get the material. Get active material dot, and let's just go surface ID 0. Set shader. Wait, what? How do you set shader parameters again? GD script set uniform. I find it really weird how picky it is. Okay, okay, it's just because it doesn't know it's a shader material. And then, yeah, set shader parameter, cam pos, and then we're gonna go get active camera, or get tree, get active, no, there's a way to do this. Okay, yeah, get viewport.get camera 3D. Position. And then I assume this is probably gonna crash immediately, because until my player loads there isn't a camera. But we'll see. Oh, it didn't crash. Look at it go! Okay, so I wish my mouse would be attached properly to it. So if I run over this way, we should see the caustic show up in a circle around me, and we don't. Okay. Let's print the camera position and take a look at what we're getting out of here. Our jump sound sounds like a bag of chips. Is it similar to something like Unreal or Unity? I haven't actually used Unreal or Unity, so I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but I think they're similar. Yeah, we're not getting... Oh, yeah, because look at that. That is not... Oh, because it says local position. We need to go global position, because right now it's pulling the camera's like position relative to the player, which is obviously a fixed position. All right. Why the choice for Godot? Because Unreal is pretty heavy for what it is, and Unity is disgustingly monetized. I am pretty against using non-FOSS software for game development when there's so many good FOSS options that you don't have to pay royalties for. And Unity is just about the worst of the worst when it comes to that. And I don't have a negative opinion on Unreal. I just haven't really felt compelled to use it because it's not the type of games I want to make. Like, it's very tuned, from my understanding, to making kind of more, like, realistic graphics. Tim Sweeney. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything positive or negative because, well, okay, Tim Sweeney's, I know enough about Tim Sweeney to maybe say something negative, but I'm gonna be a nice person and not get intense right now. So open source software is my biggest drive. Like, if the tooling sucks, like, okay, if the only good options are closed source software, then I'll use the good options. But if there's like a good open source option, then I definitely prefer that. Ari mean person arc. I don't like where this is going. Okay, so now we're gonna tween into the sky color beyond a certain distance. So let's grab a uniform up here and we're gonna go sky color, and we're just gonna set this to black because that's what the sky is right now. Then we're gonna define sky fade start as, say, 300 units, sky fade end as 400 units. And then I guess this is unshaded, so I don't need to specify the light shader. Then we're gonna go into here, and we're gonna go float, or Vec3 watercolor. We're gonna rip this out of the albedo here. And actually, let's just make it a Vec4 at this point. Cool, and then we're gonna go Vec4... has any playtest been held for this game? Not yet, no. This is, we're gonna be doing that pretty soon, though. We're basically at the end of our little jam session. We gave ourselves, like, 10 days to do this, so I think we're on day 9. I'm very ready to, not work over the weekends, though. It's been fun, but I like chilling out. Color.rgb, and then we'll, pass in color A, and then we're gonna color watercolor. We're also gonna put a mix in here, and then horizon color, and then we are going to float horizon influence, and this is gonna be, I guess let's actually get the raw depth out of here instead of snapping it together with this shit. Float depth is this, and we're going to take this depth, which is used for mixing the caustics, and we're going to call it caustics influence. It's going to be depth over 35. And let's actually just grab this thing here. And then we're going to put that in here. Opinion on camels. It has to be the 2-hump ones. If they're 1-hump, they look stupid. Hi, Force of Phoenix. Okay, Horizon Infinite, we're gonna go, or, God, I should not be using int for influence. I'm already misreading it as infinite. Whatever. We're gonna take depth minus... Whoa, camel drama. Sky fade start, and then we're going to divide it by sky fade end minus sky fade start. And let's make these floats for ease of use. And then we're going to clamp that between 0 and 1. Isn't the 1-hump one a dromedary? That sounds right. Invalid arguments. Oh, because I need a paren here. Dromedary. Okay, we'll wrap that around there. What? Am I still missing a paren? No. But we're missing one. Hold on, one. Oh, because this is inside of this paren. Stop that. Okay, and then horizon in here. Oh, horizon color is called sky color because I swapped up my variable naming halfway through. And then we need a vector 1.0 in the opacity there. All right. So now beyond a certain distance, we should see the horizon color. And I think that's what that white plane over there is, because I think I severely overestimated how far 400 units is. So let's tune that down a bit. Let's go 100 and 150. And why is it white? Where's the uniform for this? Oh, hold on. Vec for color? Is that what I'm supposed to do? How do I do it over here? Ah, source color. And then, of course, it wants to be a Vec 4, so I don't need this thing here. And now it's black by default. Okay, so when I put a vector and I told it to be black by default, it decided to screw me over by being white by default. But then when I choose a color without a default, it goes black by default. I see how it is. I should export a looping GIF of the idle animation of our guides and put it in the corner of the stream. Like, just like this guy over here. That would be kind of fun. They are kind of adorable. Oh yeah, this is the Cobalt Core OST, or at least, actually, I think this one's Sunshine Heavy, yeah. Made by Aaron Cheroff, who is incredible. Okay, so now I think we have the fade. It's kind of hard to see, though. Like, it definitely tapers very suddenly. So let's fix that. Let's make it start at like 0. Just let's have it start right there. It still feels sudden is the weird thing. Like, I would expect it to feel a lot slower. I might need to adjust the curve. Yeah, I think it's just because, you know, I'm looking at it from a very, like, low angle, right? So it's gonna look very sudden. But I think it'll help if we throw a curve on here, if we take the power of it by, like, probably 1 point, or like 2.3. Wait, wrong direction? Wrong direction. 0.3. 0.5. 0.2. 0.3, and then let's increase this. And let's increase the scale of this plane. It's not like it's gonna be upset about it or anything. Who cares about overdraw, right? Okay, let's see. It's closer, but man, it still is like, it feels so sudden. Like, you know what I mean, right? Like, it feels like it just kind of like, it reaches an edge, even though it's not actually reaching an edge. Well, let me just check something. And then... Alright, let's try an even sharper exponential curve. Just like, let's go all in and see what happens. Into the great beyond. Okay. Yeah, that definitely looks like more like a fade out. It's just crazy I have to go so intense here to see it. Let's start it a little further away so that we're not like tuning out the immediate near area. Oh, wait, look at that. That doesn't look right. Maybe my curve is messed up. Because, well, is that literally just because this is such an extreme exponential factor? Like, or am I actually doing something wrong? Because I could very well be doing something wrong. Like, it kinda looks like I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, I think there's a mistake going on here. Let's take a look. So, the depth is gonna go from 0 to whatever. I guess depth is a misnomer, it's distance. And we're taking the distance and we're subtracting the start. So let's say if start's 40 and we're at 20, then that's gonna be negative 0.2. And then we are dividing it by an about and clamping it to 0 and 1. So, no, I don't see why the sharp cutoff should be there. I think it is just like the exponential factor making it more obvious. But like, I'm not sure what to do about it beyond just making the plane bigger, which, you know, I mean, I can do that. I don't really want to, but... Because, like, even then, that looks so sharp. I feel like I'm going crazy. Because, like, what I want is a perceptually linear fade out, right? Whereas because of the way distance sort of collapses, it looks a bit funky. I'm not putting Hell Valley Sky Trees in, at least not right now. This one's kind of freaky, though. I love how, like, the partially submerged trees kind of, like, break through the water. It's kind of neat. Okay, so... what if we fade it to a different color that's not just black? It might just be... yeah, it might just be the fact that black is black, and it's you know, to the eye, it has 0, you know, luminance. And if we think of luminance as like multiplicative, then it's kind of hard to tween it appropriately. I mean, that's not all it is, but, you know, that does create a cool effect though. And it also makes it very obvious that the tween is ending very far out. But look at that, that sharp line, that shouldn't be there. Okay. Well, let's just lower the fade end point and then fix the exponential fade a little. I think a smooth step, like a sine fade out, would work better. Like, that looks so weird. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm staring at, because, like, there is no way that from here to here that is a linear fade, right? Oh, and what if I move the camera position here so that we can actually get a top-down view? So this is where the camera is supposed to be, right? Then if we go in and edit the shader, and we reduce this, say, to 100, right? What if we reduce this to, like, 1? 5. 10, okay. So that smoothed out that arc. And then what if we change this to, like, 0.4? See, it creates this, like... It's weird. It's definitely weird. It's making my life harder. It kind of looks like the inside of an eyeball. You know what I mean? Let's actually make it fade to proper black eventually. We'll go horizon color and then sky color, and those are going to be separate things. We're going to copy the horizon color, and then we'll set the sky color to black. And then let's rename this to horizon fade start. And then horizon fade end. Sky fade start. We'll just make it 300. Sky fade end. Let's just go like 2500. We'll make it easy here. And then we'll go sky influence. We'll do that, and then we'll do a third mix. Horizon color, sky infinite. Well, that makes it go to black, but there's, again, that weird ring. That ring is so weird. I'm sure there's some theory on why that's visible and, like, steps to mitigate it. I'll look into it later. Don't you worry, I'll figure it out. But what I do know is that we definitely want the sky fade to start and end quicker. If it's a result of linear smoothing, I'm almost certain that it has something to do with, like, perceptual lightness as opposed to, you know, material lightness. Like, it's not like the shader is failing to tween. It's just that my eyes are playing tricks on me. This definitely looks better than what I had so far, though. This is an improvement. I actually quite like this one looking near the shore. I think the purple could start a bit sooner. Which is weird to say, actually, because does. Maybe it just needs to end sooner. But then that factor looks super weird. So let's bump that. But then it ends so strange. I mean, I guess I could have it start at 0. And then I can choose this a little bit more easily. That might work. It's hard because it's so dependent on where you're looking at it from, isn't it? But I think that looks pretty good, actually. Like, it, like, fades quickly into this, like, you know, purplish twilight color, and then slowly fades into black. Yeah, I think more work needs to be done on it, but I think I'm content there for now. That's the magic phrase to stop ruminating. I'm gonna lower this a little since it's, like, weirdly clipping with some of the water. Alright, that should fix the clipping over here. It doesn't. I wonder if that's because... Why wouldn't that fix that? I don't know. I'll figure it out. I do really like how the shore water looks, like the non-blood water. But I also like how the blood water looks. Having like some bones or something that float in there would be cool, but I'm not sure how much we want to go in like that it is literal blood of like dead people versus like it's a weird liminal space of blood. Blood for the blood water. Yeah, okay. What else is there to do right now? I actually don't know. I have some collaborative work I need to do with my partner at the same time, so that's after stream stuff. I'm just thinking about mechanics to implement now. Oh, you like the hand-drawn wheel? Yeah, the line wheel effect I feel like really brings it together. That was all Graham's idea. Oh, I left the car behind. It's all the way over here. I wonder if I can find myself with it. Let's see, if I light up the world, can I see the flashlight anywhere? Is that it? I think, wait, no, this is just a campfire. The trees don't have collision yet because they're just instanced meshes right now, which is a bit stupid. They shouldn't be like that, but there I am. No, I can't make it over the water. Yeah, the trees are like not colliding at all. Oh, that's actually what I wanted to work on. Okay, so the trees. So for people that are kind of new here and missed the thing at the very beginning, this is an ASIM horror game where the monster can see only in sound. So if I like start talking with Prox Chat on, you can see it like starts illuminating the world in ripples, right? We wanted to put like some bird sound up in the trees that randomly emits so that you can kind of get like a reference for where you are that also doesn't help you navigate, or it doesn't help you catch people because obviously they're not going to be up in the trees, right? But it does let you kind of get a better idea of where you are in the world if you're the monster. Frog noises, that's actually a good one. Frogs would be cool, frogs and crickets. But yeah, so if I want to kill two birds with one stone and make these trees real while also making that be possible, let's create a little scene for the tree. I think it has a tree technically, or it has a scene. No, it doesn't. Okay. Let's create a scene. Tree. Then I'm gonna grab the tree model, and then let's align this because it's not aligned on its own, apparently. Fun. There we go. And then, so from here, horrible screaming and wailing. From here, I'm gonna change this type to a static body. And then we're gonna create a collision shape. And then I'm just gonna do a capsule collision because it's cheap. Or sorry, not a capsule, a cylinder. And we don't need the tree's collision to be like accurate to the vertex. We just need it to be a don't like stand here zone. Make it a bit wider. Oh, what are you doing to our trees? I'm making them have collision. Okay, and then let's add... So just for testing, I'm gonna put in a sound emitter, I believe is what they're called. Or did I delete those? No, they're still here. So these scenes, they just make noise. Like, they make ripple noise. They don't make actual ripple noise. Or, sorry, they don't make sounds. They make the ripples for the monster. That's it. Which I've been trying to move away from because ideally most of the ripples should come from actual sounds that are spatially placed. But for now, let's just put this, like, right up here in the branches. And then I'm just gonna make its radius like 6.5. We'll have it happen every like 3 seconds. Its random start range will be 3 seconds. And then let's see what it does. Oh wait, I need to start as the monster. Also, I need there to be trees in the scene. Those are two important things. Oh yeah, first off, I think I have a theory about placing stuff, because I don't really drag stuff into the map very often. That's mostly Graham's job. So I was kind of curious about what determines how it lands on a surface, and my theory is that it's just based on the origin of the scene. So if I grab all of this stuff and I move it down, if I drag a tree in, it should be partially submerged? No, it's not. Huh. That's... Wait, did I just fail to save? Oh, I think I did. Hold on. Nope, I did not. Okay, I guess that's not how it works. Unfortunate. Have I shown the monster? I have not done that. I don't actually have an easy ability to. I guess I could drag him in. Or here's what he looks like. Here's our guy. Press page down when selecting something. I don't have a page down key on my keyboard. Oh yes, I can play the clip. Hold on. I have an incredible clip from when we were setting up the Prox chat stuff with him. Hold on, let me open in browser. Of course that doesn't open in the browser. Here we go. Here's our guy. So his mouth opens and closes with the Prox chat. He's a big bat thing. Anyways, there you go. That's what he looks like. Alright, I'm just gonna scatter a couple of these around. I'm not gonna be super careful with it because we're not gonna be keeping this map. There's a new map that's being worked on like right now. So none of these positional changes are gonna get saved anyways. Hi there, the great Charles IX. This is not vibe coding, this is coding with brains. Alright, so if I start us up as the monster now. We can't see the new map yet because I don't think Graham's actually saved it. It's on his local computer. So that is way too visible, but like that's kind of what I'm going for, is like, it doesn't help you reveal where players are, but it lets you see where you are a bit easier. This is Godot. So if I go over to here, and let's make its interval, so let's make its maximum waves 1, which means it won't constantly like restart. And then let's make the interval a bit lower. And then make the radius a bit smaller. The alpha a bit lower. Different game engines have different benefits and disadvantages. Like, Unity has its strengths, but Godot also has its strengths, and one of those strengths is that it doesn't try to charge you for every sale. Okay, yeah, I think that's a lot closer to what I want. It really highlights the trees. I love how with the shader, you see the world in a different way. Like, you know, that for the regular player, the texture says so much about something, right? But for the monster, they see in geometry more so than color, and I think that's really cool. Let's make the intervals a bit tighter. Let's see, make monster. That's still quite delayed. I'd like to be able to see this pretty regularly, so let's set the interval back down to 1, probably? I'll keep the lifetime a bit higher. So the waves have their own, like, maximum width that kind of tapers off their lifetime. The lifetime property is, the lifetime property determines how long the entire emitter stays around before it dies. So if I keep that too short, then it will end up basically deleting the like waves as they're fading out too quickly. So that's definitely better, just a bit too regular. Oh, thanks for the hydrate. Actually, I'm gonna take a quick 2-minute break to use the bathroom. I will be right back. Just hold tight. Alright, hello, I am back. Main monitor. Okay. So, I think the best way to make this feel a bit more varied is if I throw a lower radius sound emitter in here, and then I duplicate 2 more. If we move these to slightly different positions on the tree, then it will end up having very different ripples through the tree. And then what we can do is we can make each of these have a much shorter interval, like let's say 7. And then we could have them have a much greater start range. And then it should make each tree have its own sort of pattern of lights. And I keep forgetting to make myself the monster. Let's see, come on, do the thing. I mean, it's kinda working. It definitely feels like the interval's too low. Let's make the interval like 5 instead of 7. Alright. Yeah, cicadas would definitely be cool. There's a lot of different forest ambience that I think would work really well here. Who's this cool guy from Sunshine Heavy Industries? Yeah, I think that works pretty well. I like that a lot. I could imagine with like a lot of trees in the environment, this would look quite nice. It's almost like stars, like falling stars. Ooh. Yeah, I think that's probably gonna wrap things up for today, though. At least like we'll chat a little bit before I head out, but I think that's gonna end up the development for today. I didn't have like a huge amount of time to do streaming. I just was like struck by the sudden urge to do a live stream again, and it's been a good 2 hours. It's like LiDAR. Yeah, it kind of is. I was initially worried about the fact that like the environment doesn't stop the sound waves, but I think that it feels more appropriate. Like obviously if I wanted to do something really complicated, like indirect like sound bouncing, that would be more realistic, but like sound wouldn't get stopped by this stump in the same way that light does, right? So I think it has a very unique effect that I like a lot. Light up some grass with crickets? I'll try that, but generally speaking, we don't want to have too many things on the ground lighting up at any given time, because that would reveal players, right? But I'll throw one in, just as like an example here. If I throw this probably down there, let's make it like a small radius, very dim. Yeah, that's probably good. Make a moth and a mosquito. You guys are just suggesting insects now. Alright, yeah, so that's kind of what like a small little light burst would look like from like an animal or something. It's just, you know, that also looks quite a bit like a person, and more importantly, if I were to put a player model, let's grab one of these little freaks. If I was to put a player model over top of it, like that, then you'll see that I pressed the wrong button again. Then you'll see it makes them quite easy to spot, right? Like if they were just standing still trying to be quiet, that lighting them up would be a little dangerous. I'm not making it so the monster gets a power-up for eating bugs. It has more important things to eat, like people. I like how the monster can't actually see the blood ocean. Like if I put the shader effect back on, like you can't really see anything there. We're gonna have to figure out a way to make that... Off I go. We're gonna have to figure out a way to make that actually function, because, you know, obviously we want them to be able to see the border of the map as well, but that'll be interesting, we'll figure it out. The monster should be followed by 100,000 moths that have tiny hitboxes and make it awkward for players to run around without walking into them and getting stuck. Yeah, that's an incredible idea, thank you. I'm really enamored by the little crawling physics. You know, it was like weirdly inspired by like the Minecraft sneaking, how they like made it so that you could go under half, like 1.5 block tall sections with sneaking. I thought it was going to be really hard to do, and honestly, it kind of was a bit more annoying than I thought it would be, because like if I look at the player, they have their regular collider here, if I make it very bright for a sec, or... Oh, it's hidden. There we go. This is their regular collider, right? And then they also have their sneaking collider, which is, like a lot smaller, you know, it ends like right there. And I needed to make it so that they actually, it can only stand up the player when they can fit. But if I just checked if the normal collider was colliding with anything, it was giving me so many stray collisions, like I'm colliding with the ground, I'm colliding with a wall. Because that's kind of just how like Godot's physics system works, is it remains touching things if there's like a little bit of positive velocity. So I initially tried taking the sneak collider and moving it up to the height of the head collider to check. But then if I had like a surface like right here, then there's a little seam where it wouldn't check and you'd end up sitting up with like a plane in between your body. So eventually I had to make this separate stop sneaking collider, which you can see it like fills the gap. It fills the gap above the sneaking collider, but doesn't grab the feet area, and then I test that, which was stupid. I really like games that change how you view the environment or make it harder to see. The camera from Iron Lung is so cool, really stressful not being able to see the full picture of everything. Yeah, I mean, like, having different visibility, I feel like, creates so many interesting scenarios where, like, you can have a variance in mechanics, you know? You can have things that, like, some people have an advantage, other people have a disadvantage, and there's, like, so many mechanics that can be done there that I think is really interesting. Before you end the stream, can you make a really ugly character model? Fine. Graham is excited because this system was made by him, all of these models, and he wants us to take a look at these guys. Okay, so they got color. You can change their color. And because this is the built-in Godot color picker, you can also make them, like, glow, which we're not gonna keep, probably. I've been bullied out of keeping that, even though I'd like to keep it. And then you have different mouth options. Here, I'll make it less glowy for the purpose of being able to see the colors. You can have different mouth options, and different nose options, too. And then you can also change your eyes independently. Oh, face cam's covering screen. Oh, no! Hold on. Sorry about that. Main monitor. Okay, let me start this over again. So you have color. You can change the glowiness. And then you've got like different mouth and nose settings. I think this is a pretty horrible mouse, so we'll keep that. And then, yeah, and then you can choose separate eye selections for each eye. What are like the two most awful eyes? That one's pretty bad. Okay, I think I know what my selection's gonna be. No, I skipped past it. We have incredible UI for setting this up, as you can tell. We're gonna take that one, and then that one. Or wait, not this one. Not this one. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. Use the Family Guy mouth. There you go. Are you happy? Is this a good character model now? I have to recreate my own one because this overrode it. It certainly is a model. Alright, well, there we go. Thank you all so much for stopping by. It was great to catch up again, you know. It's been a long time, a lot longer than I wanted to. You know, a lot of life stuff has happened since the last stream, good and bad, and it's not been a priority, but I've really enjoyed catching up again, and I definitely want to see if I can keep doing this in the future. If you're interested in catching future streams, because of how unreliable I am, the best way to do that would be to check out my Discord. Link is on the screen. Ooh, recursion. At the bottom there, arail.us/discord. And other than that, Isabelle plush. Oh yes, my plushie wall. Slenderman will be in the game. I don't think we can do that, Graham. You should say that out loud. But yeah, other than that, thank you all so much for hanging out. This was great. And I'll catch you all next time. Hope you have a great day, and bye, everyone. See y'all later. Okay.